It is Relic Knights week here on beastsofwar.com, and we have some fantastic prizes up for grabs. 5 in total. First up, we have 4 two-player starter bundles to give away to get you and a mate into the game. These will include 2 starter factions of your choice with the rules you need to play. We then have our 5th prize, which is a bit of a special one. You will win an expanded 2-player starter bundle, again, of the factions of your choice with the rules you need to play, but on top of that, you will get to work with the design team at Ninja Division to design a brand new miniature for Relic Knights. For your chance to win, get your comments in on any of the themed content this week on Beasts of War, YouTube or Facebook. Stay tuned and enjoy the week. So, hi guys, welcome to Relic Knights week here on Beasts of War. I'm of course joined by John from Ninja Division.
Hello!
Welcome to the show, and welcome to Ireland. You've made a bit of a trip to get across here.
That's a bit of a trek. It's fun though.
Yeah. So, what is Relic Knights?
Relic Knights is a tabletop skirmish miniatures game with awesome figures. It is a totally diceless miniatures game. It features art and inspiration from manga and anime and video games and stuff that kind of flavors a bit different from some of the dark and gritty we've been playing with for so many years.
Okay, suddenly everybody knows why I'm sitting here, because in the studio I'm the anime guy. Okay. So this game was not getting away from me.
Awesome.
This is going to be a game where I'm going to be having a very good close look at it. So through the week I want to actually have a chat about all the factions, get some mechanics in, and see if we can get a demo game in.
Oh, you bet.
But first things first. You say it's a diceless game.
Absolutely.
So how does that mechanic actually work within the game?
Well, the mechanic is pretty straightforward. All players in a game have a non-customizable deck of cards. This is called an Esper Deck. Generally, Esper is the energy that sort of binds and holds the universe together, as you will. And the different colors represent different facets of that energy.
Okay.
These are used to generate your powers and abilities while you play, but you generate them through a hand as your randomizer as opposed to using dice.
Right. Well, I'm sure we'll see that as we work through the week. So, say I want to start with a faction. There are a ton of cool minis for me to pick from here. Yeah. The first thing I'm seeing is something that's very dear to my heart. I love big robots. And I'm seeing one right here. Now, I'm going to be very delicate with this because, let's just say, I don't want to drop a studio painted model, as always. So, who is this?
This is the Black Diamond Hardsuit. The Diamondback is a large mech with a pilot inside. It's massive. It's armored. It's got fields. It's got massive plasma blade. It's got jump jets. It's made to be sort of your heavy linebacker for your Black Diamond Corps troops. Okay.
How many of those can I field?
Well, frankly, as many as you have points for. So we like to leave our army construction pretty open and flexible, with the exception of characters. And so as a minion, you can house as many as you have points to play.
Okay, cool. So I'm guessing this game will run off a key hero then?
Correct. All of the games have a central figure called a knight, and how powerful they are determines whether they are a questing knight or a relic knight. And the difference there, as we start to talk about the world and how that all unlocks, is the questing knight is simply a character who has really unlocked a bit of attunement to the way the universe works.
Okay.
And an example here would be Princess Malia here, when she was initially a questing knight. Now, she's a cute little thing, and her little cipher there is what marks her as being a knight. Okay. A cipher is really like a representation of the player's psyche and how it attaches to a particular type of Esper. In her case, green Esper, which is a very, very lively sort of Esper, really tied into her youth and her exuberance for life and all of that. So as we explore her character as she develops, she eventually discovers her own relic and then becomes a relic knight, which would be an evolved version. So let me give you an example of a relic knight.
Okay, so
this is...
Pull this away from here.
This is Calico Kate.
Okay.
And Calico Kate is our rare and Terran space pirate.
Ooh,
and
lovely.
She's discovered her relic, and they demonstrate themselves as being sort of massive pieces of war equipment or giant mechs, and they basically ride them into battle, but they're one part mystic and they're one part mechanical. So don't think of them entirely as just a mechanical suit or a piece of powered armor. There's plenty of that in the universe.
Yeah.
But the knights themselves have a bit of attachment to that, and they use the energy around them to make them more powerful and faster, and get to be better heroes for it.
Well, I mean, like, what's currently happening within the world of Relic Knights?
It's a big universe to start. A lot of races, a lot of alien types. We feature 6 factions right out of the gate, all with very different interests, and all of them representing sort of one of the different colors of Esper as a character of its own. But in the universe, there's an anomaly going on that's simply called the dark space, where entire sections of space and far distant galaxies that we can see are starting to blink out of existence. And planets are being swallowed by this whole massing darkness that is impenetrable and basically starts chewing up space, leading to a lot of people moving, a lot of refugees, a lot of things stirring up, ultimately tying to a larger story arc that we're developing within the world.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've talked about Esper types. Now I have an image here. I assume this is showing each of the Esper types. Yeah.
This shows each of the Esper types, and there are 6 primary Esper types, each of them aligning to a color. So I mean, we can just hit around the wheel, but they basically are facets or flavors and personalities. So red would represent one of our factions in the game. And this would essentially be destruction. This would be entropy. This would be things breaking apart and falling away into nothing. Orange would be chaos. We align that to our pirates and our corsairs. They're a little wild and free, and so it's a bit more of a gamble.
This is that moment of some men just want to watch the world burn.
Pretty much to an end. Yellow is for our doctrine. These are more of our space wizards, and yellow is very much about the essence of magic. It's about raw elements. It's about power. Green is about life. It's about livelihood. It's about returning to nature to some ends. And it can mean a lot of different things, but it could be on one end healing and rejuvenating. On the other end, it could be entirely focused on just overgrowth and expansion.
Blue then?
Blue is law and order, essentially. Most civilizations stem from some sort of control of blue Esper. And then purple represents, on the back end of law, is corruption. And so these are the things that can twist and turn and manipulate people and things.
So I assume our pirates, you've said they're on the orange.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to take a guess here from your studio paint job that this big dude here, who is one of the coolest minis I've seen in a long time, I'm guessing he's aligned to the red.
He is aligned to the red. That is the Dahon. That is a giant war beast that goes along with the No. Now, the No Empire are already massive monsters, and if you can squeeze this guy in here, these guys are already relatively large compared to a normal human.
Well,
so if a big beastie was going to have a massive war beast to go to war for it,
it needs to be even.
It needs to be the biggest, stompiest thing on the field.
I'm loving the design of the No Empire. They're very, very cool. And I'm guessing, is this one of their Relic Knights?
This is their Relic Knight. This is their war fleet leader, Kasaro To. And being chosen,
look at this guy.
Being chosen as a knight within their society is tantamount to basically having God anoint you to go forth and do battle, and he's doing exactly that. The No are this, and we'll talk about it later as we get into it, but they're this extra-dimensional entity which are coming into space, and they're ravagers and raiders and slavers, and he's the one who leads the party as the prophet of Nozuki, which is their big Hydra god.
I see. Well, I mean, like, overall, if the game had to have a play style, what would you say that style of play would be?
Style of play? Well, this is a really action-packed, fast-play skirmish game. It's not intended to be a mass battle game by any means, but it's hugely tactical. It moves very quickly. It's interactive for both players, so everybody's always reading cards, looking over their stuff, and working with the other opponent. You don't have to wait for half an hour for the other guy to put his dice down. So you are going to be just neck-deep in the game until your scenarios are run through.
Now, one of the key features that we've seen is the control panel that you actually have here. You have one sitting there. Could you give us a quick rundown on what we're seeing in that?
You bet. So every starter faction box and every starter box that we ever put forward in the future is going to have some kind of dashboard to be able to generally help you move things along. And the unique element about this is that your dashboard, while you're playing the games, is, it's a great place to put your power cards and to put down your units. But in our games, and as we get into mechanics, we'll show you, we have a number of ready slots that you then have to fill from your available units, represented by cards in the game, to show the order that you plan on operating and activating them, and all the rest of the units sit in an idle pile.
So it's sort of like an activation queue.
It's absolutely an activation queue. And so when you're playing, you can look over at your opponent's sheet, depending on the size of the game, determines how many queue slots you're going to get. And then you can see the order he plans on activating his models, immediately look at the board, see what he's focusing on, where his strategy is going. You can, in some cases, even manipulate your opponent's or your strategy queue as well. And so there's way different levels of tactical thinking about how you're moving your models on the table than simply just smashing two armies together and rolling dice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'm absolutely loving the look of the miniatures. They're absolutely gorgeous. I have to say, you guys have done a fantastic job. The mechanics of the game sound really, really cool. And whenever you can combine having big Oni-like demons, gigantic mecha, and even one of my favorite things, a cute little tank. This kind of feels very Dominion Tank Police to me.
A little bit. Our little Blitz tank is kind of cool. He's a little drone tank, so he's a little smaller there.
Yeah.
And those are air deployable, so they can go spitting out of drop ships and go trundling around and secure a landing zone for your troopers to come in.
Yeah. And then speaking of troopers, we actually have some of the mainline infantry for the Black Diamond faction, which do just look very much future soldier.
Absolutely.
It's very, very cool. I'm very impressed with how everything looks here. I tell you what, I want to get on and chat about some of the factions in more detail.
Absolutely.
Because I think there's going to be some very, very cool stories to be told for each of the factions. So, guys, stay tuned this week. We have a lot to come. If you're interested in playing Relic Knights, drop a comment below and let us know.